natural is always better than everything. As you know, as we get ready to start the show, I'm excited. We got 20 seconds left. The cold open of Roman staring at Edge in the ring is right now.
Oh,
yeah.
Is this the cold open?
This is the cold opener right now, man. I didn't.
That's how you start your cold open?
You said you just started with conversation.
That's so unnatural.
Well, you was talking. I'm sorry, Marcus. I don't think they can handle it. But
you can't bring on stuff that happened off air, like people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it right.
So you know what? Grand finale. Can you handle it? Manny, can you handle it? Eric, can you handle it? I don't think they can handle it.
I don't think you can handle it.
On that note, I'm starting the intro video. Welcome everybody to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I am Eric.
I'm Lord Manny. Hey, Hayes.
He had a drill. Are you all right, Marcus? And El Luchador saying,
Marcus the Grand Finale did not see the drill coming.
Marcus and El Luchador, I don't think they're ready for this jelly, Marcus. El Luchador, because he knew what the code open was. And gentlemen, let me just point out once again, me multitasking disaster has been avoided. I almost forgot to hit the record on the audio version, so my whole purpose of doing the audio show was almost ruined by me getting so excited for being bootylicious, because they're not ready to handle this.
They're not bootylicious. You're booty hungry.
Oh, you son of a bitch! You son of a bitch! You man. And you know what? If you didn't have that drill, I would come over there and I would beat you up, sir. But I'm not going to do that to you right now.
Eric, prove me wrong. Tell me you're not booty hungry.
No, I ate breakfast this morning, man.
I don't think you can handle that.
Wow. I take it from the sound of you guys' voices, everyone is in a good mood today. Am I correct with that assessment, Marcus?
Yes.
What about you, Lord Manny? Are you going to hit the drill again to show how happy? Is it 3 drills and you're happy, 2 drills you're not?
I got one thing first. This chair needs to get its ass out of it.
The debut of the new chair. Wow, that's like Kemper showing up on our show.
You don't think
Look
what?
At that.
You don't, Manny, just turn it a little bit over. Manny, turn it a little bit more. We can't see it, Manny. We can't see it. There you go. There you go. Oh, there it is. The magnet.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
New chair. New chair. Who this?
Put your ass in that chair.
New chair. Who this?
That chair,
who?
You sit on that chair.
Now, how does your ass feel, Manny? How does it feel in that chair?
It feels supported. It feels like it's being cushioned. It feels like someone caressing my buttocks.
Yes, his derriere is being taken care of by Secret Labs. And with that, AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Secret Labs for taking care of Manny's derriere. There we go.
You know what? Can I say for a second, though, Manny missed the use of an excellent pun in which he could have pushed the chair out and said, "This is not a drill," and then pushed out the chair because he already had the drill. I'm just saying that would have worked for me.
I wish I would have known Manny was going to debut his chair, because then I would have cut to a main camera with just Manny by himself so everyone could see the chair instead of him trying to fit the chair into his little box. But needless to say, we're not here. We're not prepared. And with that being said, it comes into like Friday. It comes in with like Friday Night Smackdown, where for whatever reason, whoever is a part of Roman Reigns' team, the tribal chief, the head of the table, was not prepared, because you should never let the face of the company look foolish. And that's what took place when he came down to the ring. He said his piece. He called out Edge, and Edge wasn't there. That production head down should have said, you know what? He ain't here.
No.
And Marcus.
No, Eric. Edge had no reason to be this late. He had no reason to be this late. What the fuck? He didn't show up late to Raw. He was already there. He didn't show up late to NXT. He was already there and almost left his wife. I don't understand why he was so late.
His wife. He did
leave her. Yeah, Gary Cross was like, you better get out of here.
Marcus, he was a busy man this week. He was an extremely busy man this week, and I'm sorry if he showed up a little bit late on Friday. Marcus, this is Roman's team. He should have known because Roman was already upset that because apparently he doesn't realize that his show comes on Friday. That's why he went to the other shows first. I mean, it seemed like he was misguided throughout the whole entire night. But I think you still justify this, correct, Marcus?
What? Roman's anger? I think that it should have been, he should have apologized and should have just went to YouTube and said, yes, me and Roman are fighting in the main event so Roman can be ready. He needs to acknowledge him, Eric. Because Roman acknowledge me.
Marcus.
Like I really like the play on acknowledging the tribal chief to now acknowledge me as the main event of WrestleMania. Because he needs that, Eric.
Well,
he needs that. And you can see it in his face.
The arrogance of him saying, by the simple fact that Edge won the Royal Rumble and Edge now has a choice to pick out which champion that he wants to fight. But Roman feels he is the main event. So it means that the choice has already been made. Manny, is Roman right? Is the choice made? Does Edge face Roman for the title at WrestleMania?
Yes, because Roman's already displayed that he's beaten Drew McIntyre, proving that he is the main event. No handcuff can keep him down.
You saw him almost get up?
Yes, I actually saw the count make it to 6 until they said, they took the camera and said, get the referee out this shot.
And you saw the count to 9. Then you saw another count go to 6.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure. Marcus,
in the second count.
My favorite part of the entire opening segment had to be when the producer or the production hand gave the news to Paul Heyman that Edge had not arrived yet. And the look of fear and disappointment where he had to deliver that information to Roman was like it was the last bit of seasoning on a perfect meal. Do you agree, Marcus?
Well, I don't understand why Paul feared, delivering this message when Roman is right there. He can hear him. There's no one in this arena. There's no one here. He can hear this blanket going, he's not here, because everybody else heard it.
Man, you look like you want to chime in.
Well, I just like that Paul Heyman has this face like he shit himself literally every time something goes wrong. Like it's like, uh-oh, it's happened again.
And let's as Manny pointed out, Edge was extremely late to the show. He showed up with about 10 minutes remaining in the entire show. And we get to the closing segment. And
Eric, I'm just saying, I'd write him up for a disciplinary.
But you know what? We don't even know if Edge is full time. I mean, maybe when you win the Royal Rumble and you go number
Eric,
1,
Royal Rumble or not, if you're not showing up to work on time,
Chris said in the lumber chat, Manny, wrestlers were always late to the show. This ain't new, and he's right. I mean, I know some people that showed up in the last minute before it closed out. I mean, if we go to
that's the old generation. That's the old generation shit. The new generation show up on time. Because they gotta get their games in.
But we go to the end. Edge shows up, and Edge is concerned because Roman came down to the ring with his entourage. My favorite line had to be when Roman said, "Edge, I promise you, Paul will not put any hands on you." And I died laughing. Marcus, did you fear Paul? Or did you fear the rabbit Jey Uso, who had so much energy that he could not stand still?
Jey Uso looked like the dog on the fence. You know, the beware dogs are like, you're just barking at you for no reason. Like, I'm just walking by, damn. Like, damn. And people saying, nah, he's friendly. He a friendly dog. That dog is about to attack. And I was expecting him to get attacked. And maybe a Christian save or something, but no. Roman scored his dub out the ring.
No, but Marcus, like, you got to remember last week or the week before, Paul Heyman's from New York, motherfucker.
Yeah. And I'll whoop your ass.
But that was talking to Adam Pearce. That's different. I mean,
I don't know. Edge is older. Edge is older than Adam Pearce, so.
I mean,
Yeah.
I swear to God, the way Jay was moving around, I thought he did a lot of coke. He had too much energy. And he was like, "What? You gonna kick me out?" But then, if you want to talk about somebody,
you've been bitching for like 3 weeks.
yeah. But then let's talk about somebody who just can't let shit go. That's Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens shows up, stuns Roman, and then the show goes off. Manny, do you want to see more Kevin Owens and Roman, or where are we going with this?
I think you have to give it one more shot with this one because of how their match ended. Because there's so much gray area in that. Just because of that botch, and we all know that realistically you could have carried on the count. It was like Trump came out there and like, stop the count.
There's a fake count.
And for the
count. Stop the count.
And for the people who are listening to the audio version of this show, you may have noticed that we're not talking about the Royal Rumble. And with good reason. We spent 4 hours on Sunday live watching the show, so it's available on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/the Sharpshooters, sharpshooters.com, and you can go and see how we reacted as we watched the Royal Rumble live on that evening. So, gentlemen,
we had thought about that.
We had bookends. We talked about the beginning, we talked about the end, but SmackDown also had a lot of other things going on in the night. Once again, we revisit the match between Baron Corbin and Dominic Mysterio. Last week, as you recall, Dominic attacked Baron first and then ended up losing. This week, Baron Corbin attacked Dominic, and now he ended up losing. And I know many people say that Rey Mysterio got involved, but however, I feel like you do not attack the person before the match in this feud. Marcus, what is the strategy going in when we get this next week? What should they do?
Well, shout out to Baron Corbin's faction, the Knights of the Lone Wolf, as being no longer a thing.
Steve Cutler is no longer a thing. Steve Cutler is gone because he had to have that birthday party.
Wesley Blake ain't coming back. You think Wesley Blake gonna come back by himself?
No.
He go. He's done. So that's out the window. I think the only thing you can do at this point is just. I think that Dominic is gonna get full of himself, and he got a clean victory over Baron Corbin. And he's going to claim he got that clean victory. And I think we're leading to Mysterio versus Mysterio.
Oh, so are you thinking that maybe Dominic did not approve of the involvement of his father in this match?
No, he's going to not acknowledge that that's what helped him win. He's going to be arrogant and not acknowledge that his dad helped him win that match because he did.
I still feel like Corbs could have stomped the hell out of Rey Mysterio while he held one of his legs. Come on, Corb, just smarter than that.
Manny, we don't know what type of lead items that he had in his boots or in his outfit. You know, that outfit cost about $1,500 that he had on. Maybe it was something that was weighing him down that kept Corbin from getting into the ring.
No.
My big issue was that I don't think the 619 to the back of the head, then the tribute frog splash would have been enough to put out the King. But I am a King Corbin fan.
King Corbin goes down. He never wins. I feel like when he was holding the leg, Eric, what you need to understand is that Baron Corbin is a Gold Glove boxing champion. He does not have good leg strength.
Marcus, Chris says, Chris pretty
all
much,
in the head.
Marcus,
all in the head.
Chris in the lumberjack, he says, "Hey Corbin, you know I don't like you, right? But if you send Ray and his allergic knees back to retirement, then I guess he can be cool with him at that point." Marcus,
but on his knees now younger than Dominic.
I mean, the craziest thing though between Baron Corbin and Dominic Mysterio, for whatever reason, they do have some type of chemistry in the ring, which makes it work. So I'm not opposed to seeing what happens next, but as Marcus said, it could be Dominic versus Ray down the line. Going down the line, we're gonna talk about Daniel Bryan going against one of my favorite wrestlers, Cesaro, in the match that Cesaro got busted open. Very good exchange with Cesaro getting the win. Manny, were you surprised that Cesaro was able to get a win over Daniel Bryan?
I didn't think it would just come out of the sharpshooter after a big swing just like that. And the way Bryan just measly tapped out
You got me.
I love the fact that Cesaro was just bleeding and he didn't give a fuck.
He didn't give a fuck. It was crazy. It was a lot of blood. That one point when Bryan's wristband just took all the blood off the side of his head. Marcus, you've been a supporter of Daniel Bryan since day one. My question for you, does this seem like it's a swan song and he's about to exit the company? He's just putting over as many people as he can before he leaves?
I think he's doing that, but it also could lead into possible heel turn, difference in character. Maybe he becomes a coach of some kind. But, I feel like he's doing good work. He's getting Cesaro and Nakamura, getting them over somewhat. And, I don't think it's over. I feel like he's going down the route of Drew Brees in the NFL, which he's always at the end of his career, and he's probably going to have one last push for it. But, that's the best use of him right now. I wouldn't put him in the main event, or I wouldn't have him face Big E right now, because that takes away everything. This is a good spot for him. Just take the dive. Just go down. You can build it back up anytime.
All right, since we're talking about great spots, we're going to move on to another match. And this was a match between Bayley and Ruby Riott. It was a good match, but what really stole the show was, as you guys have on your show, the Untitled Manny and Marcus Show, which airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays on DSPN, our YouTube channel.
He said that with no disdain in his voice.
With that being said, you guys
have that's the first time.
You guys have a hashtag, and everyone knows this hashtag. Hashtag Billie Kay deserves better. We know Manny has been championed that she need to move on to other people, greener pastures. Looks like Corey Graves finally planted that seed. And Marcus, were you happy to see Billie Kay take her headshot and her resume and show it to Bayley?
Ding dong! Absolutely, I'm happy to see it. That is a match made in heaven. A match made in heaven. Bayley and Billie Kay. Billie Kay and Bayley makes so much more sense than anybody else that she was aligning herself with. This could be comedic gold. It gives Bayley something to do. Billie Kay finally found a home, and Peyton Royce can be left out into the pasture. This could be a new version of the Iconics.
Manny, I know you love Billie Kay, so I'm just going to let you... I'm pretty sure you have nothing negative about this segment.
So I don't think they can even be called the Iconics. The Iconics, they'll just be the Iconics. They remove the second I and become the Iconics.
Maybe they had a third eye. Maybe they had a third eye, Manny. The Iconics.
That's the angle.
Going back to the previous match, because I see where the Lumberjack had chimed in, El Luchador said in the chat room, maybe we can finally get Cesaro a world title. I know in the mid-card mess this week, it was a lot of conversation because something came up that Cesaro's contract was expiring soon, and many people questioned if he should stay or should he go. Manny, I turn to you. If you were Cesaro, I know he resigned. So I know he
verbally resigned.
I know he made that decision already for his own well-being. But Manny, if you were Cesaro, would you have stayed with WWE, or would you have just maybe explored and see if you had other options out there?
It doesn't hurt to throw it out there when you're coming towards the end of the contract. Randy Orton did it, and it's not like he was ever going to go to AEW, but he got himself more money. I don't see why you don't flirt with the opportunity to get yourself the most money. I sound so greedy right now, but that's it. I'm big business. But you should know your value.
Marcus, you chiming in, Marcus. You saying that Manny's right. Go ahead, speak on that, brother.
I said your wife is on your right.
I know she I thought you said Manny was right. Marcus, I can see Shantae walk in on the camera. I saw it.
Oh, okay. You got 6 cents. But Manny is right. Get your money. Get your money, black man. As the one person once said. And I feel like I would rather, and in principle, I would rather be where Cesaro is right now in WWE than being Miro on AEW. Once I see that, I don't want to go in there anymore. Because I don't feel like they would use Cesaro right. And you may say, oh, he's a world champion and all this. Yeah, but I would rather be the Intercontinental Champion in the WWE than be whatever the TNT title is or whatever like that. But get your money.
To jump on that, though, with what's going on AEW, you're going to get just lost in the shuffle with everybody, all the wrestling companies working together. So you're not going to get any real TV time. So he might as well stay where he is.
I mean, gentlemen,
make his money.
We'll talk about all those companies working together because I have so many opinions on that
one.
I
got 2 more things to say.
Okay, go ahead, because I was going to say something, but go ahead, Marcus.
I forgot to bring this up. In the match between Bailey and Ruby Riott. Baby and Ruby Riott. That's what I would call, I guess, Bailey now. Billie Kay did not cost her that match, for the record.
She didn't.
She didn't. Ruby just lost.
Well,
Ruby screwed Ruby.
I didn't understand.
I forgot to say that earlier. I don't even know why they tried to even put the blame on her. She did nothing.
Well, let me speak on Cesaro first. I mean, for me personally, Claudio, I knew him when he was Claudio Castagnoli. He worked the independent scenes for a long time when he was in Ring of Honor. He did the grind already. He's older. Get that money, young man, which is why he stayed. Like, I know many people said they would love to see him in New Japan, but who really wants to go over to Japan if you've been in America for so long to learn to speak a new language? I can understand being comfortable and not ever getting the title that the fans think he deserves. And I think he's had a pretty successful career. I mean, he's never been a world champion, but he has been successful.
Not everybody's going to be the world champion, though. Not everybody's the world champion.
Some fans need to understand that, though, because I don't feel like they do. Some fans just got to realize that their favorite is probably never going to break that glass ceiling into the world heavyweight title.
Chris is talking about my host. He says, Eric always says, I'm going to say something, but go ahead, Marcus. You can still say something. No, I'm a good host. If Marcus wants to say something, I let Marcus go first because he is the grand finale.
I'm going to say something.
Go ahead, Marcus.
I want to say something. I do look forward to the match between Cesaro and Nakamura, though, because it seems like there's going to be a match of people that have bumped hands with Daniel Bryan, who have to have this match, because Cesaro was looking on, and I feel like they are building a rivalry, and this might be, if they have this match, the best match that Nakamura or Cesaro would have had in WWE since joining the company.
Yeah, Eric, I have a question for you.
Looks exciting.
Go ahead, Manny.
So you talked about Daniel Bryan's swan song. But do you not think because he's kind of helping with the booking now that he's just trying to get more, create and establish more stars on SmackDown?
It's a possibility. I think he might even want a job to be a booker backstage. I mean, he has 2 kids to take care of. I mean, he already had that injury that took him out of the ring for almost 4 years, I believe it was. I mean, he could have a limited schedule and just get more people over with his popularity. I mean, without the fans and the audience, the Yes movement, you can't really gauge how great it is right now. I think it's great to maybe give Cesaro a chance, especially when we don't have live fans. Maybe he can become more prominent. I like what they're doing with Daniel Bryan and Cesaro in the situation. All right, I guess we're going to move on to...
We spent a lot of time on that. Well, I didn't realize that was going to go that long.
It was a good conversation, but
there's a lot of topics on there.
Oh, we lost Manny.
Oh, we lost Manny.
I guess Manny couldn't handle it. Oh, he's back. He's back.
He's back.
So I'm here. We're going to spend a lot more time in this section of SmackDown because it was my favorite section for all the wrong reasons. We're going to talk about Reginald coming down to the ring. Marcus.
Oh, fuck Reginald.
Manny, stop. Because Marcus, I have my suspicions that Reginald is not a real Frenchman. Marcus, do you agree with those assessments? Because his accent was jumping. He was trying, but this was a worse attempt than Coffee trying to be Jamaican.
Eric, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until proven guilty, but I have my suspicions as well that he is not of European descent.
Manny, is he really from France, or do you think he's a black guy trying to do an accent that's French?
Well, he's obviously a black guy trying to do an accent, even though there are loads of black guys in Europe and across Africa that can actually speak French.
Yeah.
However, Reginald is not one of them.
I don't understand why they had to go the road that this sommelier had to be from France. You could be an American.
Because he's a sommelier.
No, you could be an American sommelier. You can be American. No. You can. You can have a tongue that can taste the fruits of the world.
You ain't got. In America, you're not going to have a black sommelier. In America, you're going to have a white sommelier.
I don't believe in a black sommelier. In America, or American sommelier. I don't believe into that. I don't think that's a real person. I would. If you had to
so wait, Marcus, are you trying to tell me?
I enjoy fine things in life.
Marcus, I want to tell you, man. There is a black man as a black sommelier that you just crushed his spirit right now, Marcus.
It's original.
No, it's not. There are black sommeliers, Marcus.
I meant American, not black.
They're American.
I'll tell you this. Look.
He's scratching because he's lying, y'all. He's scratching because he's lying.
No, if you put a French sommelier up against a American sommelier,
I thought you were going to say Somalian. I was like, why we got to bring in an African Somalian in this one? I don't know, Marcus, why you getting so racist? But go ahead, make your point.
What I'm trying to say is I'm trusting the French taste over any American's taste buds whatsoever, just because of the historical references of the French and wine. Thank you very much.
You're racist, man. You're culturally racist.
I'm picking a white dog. I'm picking a white dog to pick my wine, okay?
But at the same time, we talked about Reginald and his accent, but now we don't really know who Reginald is working for at this point, because he came down to the ring and he was hyping up Sasha, but then Carmella came out. She did some talking. Then Sasha Banks came out in by far the worst outfit I have ever seen. She looked like she looked like a struggle.
The way she was talking annoyed me more than what she was wearing.
Well, I think, Manny, her outfit and the way that she was talking went hand in hand. It seemed like she was trying to find her next hit from the pipe. And I know that's a little harsh when I say that, but it was just a lot going on. Yes, Marcus, I called her a crackhead, damn it. I called her.
That's the biggest stretch ever.
Come on.
That's your girl, Eric.
Manny, she has moved down the rankings. She has moved out. You know what? I realized maybe I held her higher when she couldn't defend the title, but after defending the title a couple of times, I'm seeing the flaws in what she was. But Bianca was also in the ring, and because she said she was going to make a decision and she's going to do it on her time. Did you guys like the aspect of seeing Bianca's family watch her win the Royal Rumble? Manny, I turn to you.
It was so cool, but I felt like that was a second watch, because I don't think a grown man jumping on a table like that.
I felt him falling off the side of the couch was more hilarious. Marcus, did you share in the joy with Bianca's family of her winning the Royal Rumble?
Well, if you check out our live stream, you can see that we had a very similar joy in which we were watching that segment. And I believe that was a legit reaction. And him jumping on that table. I don't understand that he doesn't understand that wrestling's being a turn. Maybe he thought his daughter really won something. Or he didn't know. But his reaction was she just won the Super Bowl.
Well, Marcus, sometimes they keep the Rumble winner. They keep it a secret. They keep it a secret, Marcus. She's going to WrestleMania. But then things took a turn for the worse. As a black man, I don't know how I felt about seeing Reggie, the fake sommelier, who's truly American, who Marcus said because he's American, he can't be a sommelier, so he had to fake this French accent to fool Carmella to think he was a sommelier.
More.
He got whipped.
I trust the French.
He got whipped by Bianca Belair's braid. I think she drew the line right there, Marcus. She crossed the line. Reggie didn't deserve this. Right?
Reggie is a bitch.
Reggie is a piece of shit.
The fact that he accepted that first slap from Sasha Banks that a month ago, and he's still around and hasn't got his own back yet. That man isn't a man.
He got his ass beat by Sasha too many times. But
I'm telling you now, if you did that in front of the Undertaker would be happy.
Yeah,
Undertaker pull out gun. Undertaker pull out drill.
Cause he a man. He a man.
Cause he's a man.
Eric, I know I'm hinting at this. It said, this is what I want to see. But do you think is that was I seeing what I thought I was seeing? That the sommelier, Sasha, and Carmella are forming a new clique.
It's a possibility, but I also think that Reggie might just went into his own business to go team up with Sasha. Because I think they have heard everything that Manny has said about Sasha, that she don't have much of a personality, and Reggie gives her more personality. And I think Carmella can do it on her own. I don't think she needs Reggie. I just don't.
Whatever this voice Sasha put on this week, that needs to stop.
It just
What was that?
Like I said, Manny, I kind of feel like with each title defense that Sasha has, she's getting worse. She's not getting better. She's getting worse. And that's concerning.
I feel like Vince told her in the back to be more ethnic or more black.
Wait, You can't, but you can't be more ethnic when you have Bianca, where the ethnicity comes off legit. She has the big hoop earrings with the big Nubian queen at the bottom.
Well, baby Eric Sasha did it herself because she is going against another black woman, and she needs to try to show her that she's blacker than her.
I'm blacker than black, y'all. I'm blacker than black to the black.
I'm concerned about Bianca Belair's development based off that segment, because like you'd expect with two people that are decent on the mic that would rub off on Bianca Belair, but if they continue like that, especially the way Sasha was last night, Bianca Belair's not gonna development on the mic might not be as good.
So, in the 4 people that were in the ring, how would you rank their ability on the microphone? Who was number 1 in your opinion, Manny?
I'd still give it, because of Sasha's speaking, she's definitely 3.
Okay.
But like, Reggie's a 4.
Oh, he's at the bottom. Wow. Okay.
Reggie's my 1.
Reggie was my 1.
No, man. Je te teste en français.
His bad French is what did it for me, because I knew he never even seen Friends. He never seen it.
And
he was from New Orleans.
Carmella was the best one in the ring that night.
She was. I think she was. She was the best dressed. She had the best mannerisms. She was money. Mella was money right then and there. Marcus, what are your rankings?
How dare you? You may accuse me of picking the white sommelier over the black sommelier, but you don't pick the white woman over 3 black people in that ring. How dare you? She was the best.
No, Manny. So I've known Marcus for a long time. I knew that was coming because he doesn't never chew me out that much unless he's gonna just point out, yeah, you're right, but I didn't want you to be that right. So, go ahead, Marcus.
No, I'm done. I didn't have anything.
So, I just want to briefly mention there was a tag team match that took place on SmackDown. I want to point out that I think the Dirty Dogs look good as a tag team. Their intro was nice, Rude and Ziggler, but I don't really need to talk about that match. But we can talk about the Intercontinental title triple threat match between Big E, Sami Zayn, and Apollo Crews. Marcus, all I need to mention was that Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler looked like a legit tag team. We didn't really need to talk about anything else.
You want to talk about the Profits in their commentary? Or Otis?
That annoyed me. Like, we could have did better commentating than that. But we have a long...
You didn't appreciate him saying in 8K, you gotta show yourself out. That's the way they acting right now? Because they in high definition. When you get in high definition...
That joke was for you, Eric. That joke was especially for you.
I get what you're saying. I mean, I was more impressed with them pointing out, like, how can we be the longest reigning SmackDown champions in a while? We can't even get a rematch. What's up with that? Why can't we get it? I mean, they had points, but
yeah, it was subtlety. It as loud and as insane as things they were saying. There was a little subtlety in storytelling. And with Sony in the bill, and Dolph Ziggler still has that weird alliance that they had for many years.
Yeah,
for whatever reason, and that's why they can't get their rematch.
So I tried to avoid talking about that, but we still did. So Marcus, what was your impression of the triple threat match for the IC title?
I thought it was a really good match. I thought Apollo, to me, stood out the most with throwing Sami Zayn. He did that moonsault to the outside, which was nice, and even his other dives. I thought he did some really athletic stuff and thought he carried the match. Him, Sami. I thought it was a good mix, to be honest. It wouldn't mind if they do it again. It was just over. I was like, that's the end of this feud.
In our pre-show meeting, Marcus, you said that you felt this was a moment that Apollo Crews was a breakout star. Now that you had some time to think about that comment that you said, do you still stand by that statement?
I still feel like it. I feel like that the match mostly highlighted him and everything he could do, where strength, power, speed, athleticism, and whatnot. And then at the end, with Big E holding up the title and him just scowling at him, and you can see that evil frustration boil to him, he's going to kill Big E at some point and maybe join up with Roman. I felt all of that by the end of this match.
Now, Manny, I'm going to turn to you. What was your impression of the match? And also, I would like you to speak on Marcus Salacious' comments about Apollo Crews having a breakout moment in this match.
Well, I enjoyed the match. It wasn't a terrible match. There was good spots in it. I don't think it was a breakout performance for Apollo Crews. He's had multiple breakout performances the last couple of weeks. And let's not forget his breakout performance where he was told to learn. He was told to stay there, little boy, and learn from the big dog. That was his breakout moment. That was him being shown with the champion and hopefully the rocket strap being put on him.
Now, Marcus, I'm sorry, because I'm still upset. I'm still upset with you disrespecting Reggie the way that you did. I'm agreeing with Manny in this situation. His breakout performance was when he was in that room with Roman. That's when everyone said, "Oh yeah, Apollo is there." He was getting that tutelage, and he took that tutelage and he went out there and won. Because let me tell you something about this: when Apollo threw Sammy to the crowd, he should have won the match. He had so much momentum. Instead, he got into the ring and he lost to the big ending. And then you just had to see him seethed in the background, breathing hard, twitching with his eyes because he was upset because Big E won. Overall, I really enjoyed this match, though. Sammy might need to cut his hair because I saw the bald spot coming and I'm a little worried for him. But Sammy, you're still one of my favorite. 3 people in the match that I really enjoyed.
I feel like Big E needs a better finisher than the big ending.
I agree with you, Manny. I agree. The big ending doesn't do it for me.
Because, like, when Big E talks about that meat on meat, but, like, that meat looked like a little cushioning there. That doesn't look like it's going to hurt when you land on that.
No, after I see a man throw...
So you should go back to the stretch muffler that he broke out for, like, those 2 weeks and was like, I'm never doing that again.
I don't think that is the right decision yet either. I mean, for me, if he did a running power slam, I probably could justify that, but I think that's Strowman's move.
Oh, no, but that's because you love running power slams.
Manny, yes, I do. I do.
All right, well, we dare give him the rock bottom. That's a new move.
No, but you can call it, but we can get Marcus. We can give him the bookend.
Because I invented that first.
Yes.
I didn't start doing that. I did that
I'm
way
gonna
before.
I'm gonna do the rest of the show like Booker T. My arms folded.
Overall, I thought SmackDown was a good show. The big issue was that it was a show after a pay-per-view. I just think that when you have 5 days removed from the pay-per-view, you can give me a little bit more. But I guess we get more when the Friday Night Messiah comes back and things of that nature takes place. So
prior to Friday night.
Anyway.
Do you think Bianca needs to run the circuit like Edge and go to recruitment for the title?
Well, the only thing that Bianca did that really upset me was when she was naming the champions, she left out your girl Io. And I don't like the fact that
she can't beat Io.
I get what you're saying, Marcus, but the thing is you have Edge talking about all the great champions on Raw, on SmackDown, and on NXT, and then I don't know if she just messed up or maybe she's not supposed to mention Io. For me, I think I would like to see Bianca versus Asuka, but I know Bianca versus Sasha is it's probably a better match. What about you, Marcus?
Yeah, that's the better match. That's the one you want to see. You can get because with Bianca going like basically full babyface, you need Sasha. You need that evil Sasha Banks from back in the day to come back. Not this. I don't know what Sasha's doing lately. You need evil, cold-blooded, hateful, vengeful, jealousy, full of hell, just bitch of bitches. Sasha Banks to come back. Ratchet ass Sasha needs to return.
Yeah, bad guy Sasha. That's what we all need. Manny, do you have anything you want to close out SmackDown with, or can we move on?
We can move on, Eric.
Well, Manny, you gave me permission to move on, and I'm sorry when I'm about to move to.
This is your show. I don't know why you're asking me.
Because Manny, we're gonna briefly talk about Monday Night Raw because I know you guys did not do a show on Tuesday
how dare you bring up our fault?
We called out a word because of Manny's move and things like that. And Manny, let me ask.
Oh, so I'm taking the full blame for not having the show on.
No,
Manny, it's all your fault.
Manny, I just want to know, how did the move go? Are you enjoying yourself in your new surroundings?
Yeah, built a bed. Made a walk-in closet earlier.
Step-by-step process.
Power tools everywhere.
I don't even know what that other one does.
So Marcus, I brought that up because you know how you said I was trying to throw a wedge between you and Manny, blaming out who took off Tuesday. The only reason why I say that because on Monday night a wedge was developed. After Edge confronted Drew McIntyre, letting him know that he may consider him to challenge him for the WWE title, Sheamus came out and called malarkey to Edge And then eventually he ended up bro kicking Drew McIntyre. Now, we saw this writing was on the wall that Sheamus was going to attack Drew McIntyre eventually. Marcus, was this the right time to strike for Sheamus to get at Drew McIntyre?
Yes, because, we need these. We have 2 pay-per-views to go through, and we need to get to WrestleMania. Side quests are necessary right now, and that's what this is. This is the side quest that they planned season way back, and we're going to get Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. And I didn't buy Drew being broken up, that his best friend just turned it all away for the title. He could have just gave him the title match.
He could have just gave him the title match.
Marcus, they went they had Christmas together because they had no one else.
Yeah.
No one else.
Just me and you. You threw it all away for this piece of garbage.
I mean, like, the whole thing for me was like Drew's reaction was a little bit like over the top. Like, it's okay, Drew. He wanted the title. You wanted the title. You would do anything for the title. I think you cut a promo a couple of weeks ago talking about I would do anything to keep this belt. And so technically, guess what?
I would do anything for this.
So Sheamus
but
did.
I won't do that.
Apparently Sheamus would. And I look forward to Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus.
For a Klondike bar.
I bet you I know who was mad about watching this at home.
Who?
Keith Lee. Keith Lee was probably rolling in his COVID bed, all upset about it. I knew it.
I knew it.
But Manny, he's rolling his COVID bed, but he is rolling on top of Mia Yim, so I guess that's not that bad. Hope she makes it out. So a Bugatti pulled up, and when the Bugatti pulled up to the scene, I actually thought it was gonna be Damian Priest getting out the Bugatti. I was a little bit disappointed when it was Bad Bunny, but later...
Can't fit that shit.
Huh?
You can't fit in that shit.
Hey, man, it's not about fitting into
There's no leg room.
It's not about fitting into it comfortably, Marcus. It's about who had the Bugatti. And the story, Damian Priest had a very good Royal Rumble. He was dominant in the ring. And then, his image that they're trying to portray is that he's a playboy and all that. Him pulling up in the Bugatti made sense, but at least he got to, talk to Bad Bunny in Bad Bunny's native language. It was a good moment.
Puerto Rican.
No, it was Spanish, Betty. I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy that says there can't be a Black American sommelier. That's not me. But then
there can't be. It's just
hold on. There's been numerous times on the show where you failed at geography.
It has, but that's the one time.
And I quote, she can't be Australian because she's black, Marcus. And I end quote.
You know what? People make mistakes. But I wasn't going to make a mistake in that situation.
But you like when you've just thrown shade about him and his sommelier comments.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Anyway, I'm staying focused on the show. Damian Priest, Marcus, do you like how they're handling his debut on Monday Night Raw?
I thought it, you know what? I feel like Damian Priest looked like a star, but he always looks like a star. Like, he got to hang around Bad Bunny. He had the great impressive entry in the Rumble. He beat up The Miz this week. Edge and him bumped the knuckles. Had, a small little talk. I thought he looked good. He looked good.
And then he got to beat The Miz because, they replayed what Miz did to Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny even got involved in this, and there were reports that Bad Bunny is training in the Performance Center. Manny, is this good or bad for business?
Well, I think this is leading to the expansion into Puerto Rico. I think this is why Carlito's back for a bit, because he's trained. I think MVP's got him doing the producer role, which I think is going to lead to NXT Puerto Rico, where they have this massive expansion, which I guess is good, where all the wrestlers they're obtaining have somewhere else to go wrestle because they can't make TV.
Is it that much of a market in Puerto Rico to actually start like a WWE Puerto Rico?
Colone's been doing
probably.
it for years. Savio Vega been doing it for years, so.
Yeah, if you have an why not use it?
Hey, the WWE wants to take over the world, Eric. According to them, 20 million people in India watch their superstar spectacle.
Mark,
okay, 20 million.
I believe that.
I believe that in every second, Marcus. Marcus, they have like a billion people there. So like 20 million is not that much, but it's still impressive to us. I think they did, Marcus.
I bet they killed it in the 18 to 30 demographic.
All right, everybody. You know what? I have breaking news from a live Puerto Rican. El Luchador says, as a Puerto Rican, I do not care about Bad Bunny. All right, that's the end of this report.
What? But that's not the real question. The real question is Shaq or Bad Bunny. Who you got?
Well, as I think it was Manny who said this. I think I'd rather would have Bad Bunny because at least he's a little bit more young, a little bit more athletic. I'm not really sure what Shaq can do. If this was Shaq 10 years ago, maybe. But this is old Shaq.
Did you not see what he did to that plexiglass?
I did. I saw the version of the Shaq Judas effect, and I'm like, no, I don't need that. I mean, Shaq, when it comes to talking and backing up his words, maybe, but I think I saw Bad Bunny's dive. I think there could be some potential there. It's some.
Yeah, that's a great question. Hey, Manny.
Hashtag all dives matter.
Hey, Manny. What do you think of that dive, though? You asked that question.
But
it's good.
I mean, since you guys did bring up Carlito, were you guys happy with Carlito's debut? And also, what did you think of Carlito teaming with Jeff Hardy to go against Elias and Jackson Riker? Marcus, I'll go to you first.
Felt old. It felt old, and Carlito felt like the youngest and sprightest dude in the match.
So, Bart, it felt like men was in the ring fighting. They all had guns and knives in their locker room and coke.
I feel like if this was in 1990, like they would definitely have coke and guns and some dead hooker in the corner who they don't know is dead, but we'll find out later in that night. But still, just leave her there because
it was like we took it. It was like we took a trip in a time machine and went back to 2006.
And Manny, I'll ask you this question. Do you think that WWE is relying too much on nostalgia, which is one of the reasons why NXT got murdered this Wednesday when it came to ratings?
I don't think I think the nostalgia thing on NXT was completely different. It's like we knew AEW were gonna win that. Like how often are you gonna go into that week going, you know what, NXT got this? You never do that.
Well, I feel like they had a chance. I never didn't think they had this. I didn't think they were gonna win the week. I didn't think they'd get killed by like 200,000. I thought they may get their 700,000 because they're normally in the 600 range anyway. But I thought AEW would win, but I didn't think that NXT would be in their normal. I thought Edge would at least give him something.
I thought Edge would give him a bigger bump, but El Luchador asked a question in the Lumberjack. He says, there's so much young talent. Why do we keep bringing back these old guys? Well, I asked the same question, but at the same time, when you look at these other companies, AEW is bringing old guys too. So it's not like everyone is jumping on that bandwagon to bring in young stars because young stars don't print money, unfortunately. And I think that's the problem. That's why you're relying on the Shaq to show up on your program.
Is that almost not what the NXT model is, though? I think they're trying to establish new stars to be stars, but they don't keep them long enough, or because if the moment they start looking good, we start talking, they should go to Raw or SmackDown.
Yes.
But, and to answer this question about keeping old stars, it's the same reason we do anything in any form of media. Like, Godzilla's fighting King Kong this year, and people are excited for that. That's some old ass shit. If you want to talk about it,
that's a rivalry that's a rivalry that's going on for years, Marcus. Much like Melee. There's
a Matrix 4. There's a Fast and the Furious 12,000. People are digging up. Bill and Ted just had a movie. People are obsessed with the old shit.
We're getting another Mission Impossible. They might be rebooting in the Matrix.
Hey, don't you ever talk about Mission Impossible. Those are still going. All right? That didn't stop. There's no period of stopping for the Mission Impossible.
Well,
they just keep going.
One of my favorite moments of Monday Night Raw, and it's not often I can say I had a favorite moment, but it was the moment that Alexa Bliss revisited and fought with her old friend Nikki Cross. Clearly, Nikki Cross
that was a nightmare.
Nikki Cross has lost a lot, and by the sound of her entrance music, it was not going well for her. She lost weight, but then they took away any type of entertaining value she had out of her. But Nikki and Alexa, Marcus, Alexa didn't even have to pull out the dark side of her character, and she still beat Nikki. What do we do with Nikki in this situation? Nikki
needs to leave. Nikki needs to go somewhere else. I don't know if it's another branch in which WWE or back to SC or to a new company, but Nikki needs to go. Once that music changed, it was the end of Nikki Cross. This whole Bliss storyline of her, and you know, she is a nice feature of a group called Sanity, and she wasn't really much by herself. Pretty much, it's probably so far you can go with someone that's crazy. She was like the female Dean Ambrose, but not as charismatic.
Well, the sad part, her gimmick is crazy, but now Alexa has taken her gimmick, taken the Fiend's gimmick, and she's doing the gimmick better than both of them, technically putting them both out of a job. Am I right with that statement, Manny?
The Fiend still got a job.
Don't you dare speak about the Fiend like that.
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to. I don't want to end up doing an impromptu interview with him again. You know how awkward that is.
Tell him that Alexa is doing it better.
Oh dear.
That's disgraceful.
You see what happens when we have to fires on the screen and everything? It's a very dangerous set.
Yeah, he's very angry.
Even though he comes across as a family man and everything.
We have not talked to him since the election, so you never know what can happen.
I feel like he sparked the riots.
He was at the Capitol. I'm sure he's in jail right now. The FBI is looking for him.
Like much like everyone else that's watched that video, watch it again and listen to what he says about Donald Trump.
So, Alexa,
watch it again.
Alexa,
let the views come in.
Like I said, Alexa didn't use her powers against Nikki because she decided to save her powers for something more important. Because directly after the match, Alexa and Randy Orton crossed paths, and I want to point out that was one of the most tenseful moments of Monday Night Raw. And then later on, because it's Randy and Edge going at each other again, you have Alexa who appears on top of the ring, distracts Randy, lets Edge get the spear for the win. Clearly, I think we're getting Randy and The Fiend at WrestleMania. Manny, do you think that's where we're going, or we're going to get that match before WrestleMania?
I think we're getting it before. But, Eric, why is it every main star on Raw, on some different side quest? Like, Randy's fighting everyone. You got Edge, you got Alexa Bliss, he's got The Fiend.
Manny, unfortunately, they're doing right and raw like how I play video games. F the main story. Oh, you need me to go retrieve milk from a sacred cow in the hills? That's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go do the side quest. That's what I'm going to do.
Was that a real side quest?
Manny, no, but it sounds like a side quest. That's the worst part about it. You know how when you're playing these fantasy games, like, yes, we need the special milk from the pink cow that lives in the hills. Please go. And then you journey there, and it's like a 3-hour story later. I love side quests in video games. It's the greatest thing ever. Side quests are amazing. Marcus.
So you think that's what Randy's living his best side quest life?
He is. Because
like his main story is to become the all-time winningest WWE champion or world champion of all time, the past Ric Flair, but yet he is stuck in side quests with supernatural wizards and demon women and
Marcus.
and Edge, whose family he's trying to bring together.
Marcus,
which is also a side quest.
See, Marcus, I think you don't realize the Edge part is the side quest. His main story was dealing with Alexa. If you don't recall, before the Rumble, he had RKO'd Alexa.
No, his main quest is passing Ric Flair. He has said this numerous times. For some reason, he assumed the Fiend burned or Alexa burned him to stop him from getting his main quest there of passing Ric Flair. That is his main quest.
You didn't pay attention to the Master Randy Orton's promo.
No, I did not, because I couldn't. Because I kept seeing Rip and Raymundo, and I said I don't know what this man is talking about. So yeah, I did not pay that much attention to it. That was pretty much Raw in a nutshell. I don't think there was anything else that we really need to talk about Raw, because we do need to discuss the Wednesday Night Wars, which It wasn't a war. I'm in this position that I think NXT needs to pack up their bag and say, you know what? You guys can have Wednesday nights. We're going to go someplace else and develop our wrestlers.
No!
I mean, yes, Wednesday night.
Oh, you're a quitter.
Marcus, they got murdered. And you know,
They've been murdered before.
200,000 is not murdered.
yes,
They've been murdered before.
but when you advertise that Edge is going to show up on the show, and I've always been a person that said anytime you put somebody from the main roster on NXT, it will spike the ratings. Clearly, that was not the case.
Well, Triple H had a theory a long time ago, and it clearly shows the truth. And he looked at Edge when he was a heel and said, Edge, you never drew a dime, buddy. You never drew a dime. And it's true. He doesn't draw a dime.
Well, the other thing was they should have said on Raw that he was going to NXT. They shouldn't have just done it like the night before or just on the day of the show. They should have done it on Raw and go, I'm going to all shows. I'll be there. I'll see you Wednesday. That's what they should have done. And I think, Eric, the ratings are going to go back up for NXT next week because the boy is returning. Cameron Grimes.
You're going to take the ratings to the moon.
To the moon.
You know that made me happy.
I think the ratings will went up if they
That's
tease the
exactly
Edge
what I
match.
said. I was like, Marcus didn't even know that video package happened.
Benny, I called
No.
Marcus and I had a pre-conversation with him, and I was like, aren't you excited that Cameron Grimes is going to be back next? He's like, I missed that package too. And I'm like, how did you miss that package? Everybody knew
I
Cameron was
don't know
coming
where
back.
I was at. Oh, but I don't. For NXT, if they would have advertised Edge was having a match, maybe. But I feel like most people knew he was just going to walk around and not really do much. He's not fighting Finn. We all know that. He ain't choosing Finn or Dunn or whoever on the roster. It's intriguing, but he ain't actually going that route.
Do you know what I would have loved? If he did actually go to SmackDown first, then went to Raw, then when he was leaving NXT, when he bumped fists with Bronson Reed and he walked out, BAM! He got hit by Roman Reigns. And then we get our incident back in the parking lot.
Yes.
So Manny,
It was almost an incident with Cross. Cross was like he wanted to call the incident.
we're going to talk about Cross because I said something about Cross. Marcus was like, he thought my comment was outlandish. I'll see if Manny thinks it's outlandish when we get there.
I don't remember any of
But
this
Manny,
conversation.
Marcus said that you're going to kill me and disagree with me a lot when I say that my favorite match on NXT was from the Women's Dusty Classic of Dakota Kai with Raquel Gonzalez going against the KC Express.
And the chair, Mr. Chair, what is your opinion on the
Marcus,
Dusty Classic?
as Lord Manny has walked away and discussed, Manny, explain to me why you did not like this match, and I can explain to you why I enjoyed this match.
It was sloppy, Eric. It was really bad. You could tell how green both Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro were, and there was a lot of spots in there where risky.
Risque.
Manny, this is where I know that being a part of the show has ruined your enjoyment in watching professional wrestling. I will admit that the wrestling was not technically advanced, but however, I thought all four women told a great story, and they told the great story of big versus small in this match, to the point where I actually began to believe that my pick from day one had been Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, but I thought literally that prediction that Kaden Carter made that they were going to go all the way to the top was about to happen. I thought the KC Express was going to win this match, but luckily Raquel Gonzalez figured out I'm bigger than all these bitches, and she ended the match, and that's what I needed.
At what point did you believe that the KC Express may have won this match? Because I already told me and Marcus spoke about this on Thursday, but at what point did you believe?
I thought when Catanzaro hit that moonsault on the outside, I was like, oh man, it made me believe that little woman had an effect on him. I really, my disbelief was gone because I was.
When Raquel Carter threw her in the ring?
Or
is this another one?
I enjoyed this match more than I should have. Marcus, where do you stand? Are you in between, Marcus? Manny hated the match. I love the match. Are you the man in the common ground right in the middle?
Well, I like my porridge just right. But
Okay, Goldilocks.
Goldilocks was a criminal, but because she had that white skin, they blamed the Bears. That's all I gotta say.
The Bears were shot down that week. Oh, I enjoyed the match. I thought they did some solid work in there. I enjoyed Casey Canizaro's jump off the shoulders into the dive on the outside. Her athleticism is legit, but she is going to kill herself doing her whatever finisher move that is called. I feel like that's going to be an episode of NXT. We're going to, oh God, cut away, because I have no idea where she's going. It never looks like she lands it right. Like, I don't know if it's a splash or a butt stuff. Like, I don't know if it's a leg drop. Like, I can't tell what she's actually trying to do. But I believe, just like Manny believed,
that the children are our future?
Let them lead the way. Go to mom. No. That the Casey Express were going to win after they cut that promo. I had doubt when they had the little bunch promo next to it. Yeah, a little bit of excitement was a little too exciting. And I was like, oh no. The worst thing can happen. That's it. That's all I got.
All right, so we're moving on to another more shenanigans.
Manny was good.
No, Manny already went, Marcus. He talked about. He got up and walked away, Marcus. He walked away.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
We had Leon Ruff go against Austin Theory. Leon Ruff was able to trick the referee that Johnny Gargano punched him, but he still couldn't come away with the victory. I actually enjoyed this match for what it was worth, too. I thought they also did the big guy, small guy wrestler very well. I thought Ruff's offense looked legit. And the ATL was for the win. I mean, I still like Austin Theory despite his allegations, but I think he's a solid in-ring worker. Marcus, what did you feel about this match?
That was all right. I thought the referee had no control over anything. No control. Johnny should have been thrown out a long time ago. And with all the women who ran onto the outside, Johnny should have been thrown out as well. And that, you know, the whole thing with Theory and like Leon Ruff, I thought Theory was going to lose this match, to be honest. That's really much it.
So, Eric, I've got to ask you about entrances right now.
Okay.
So, a while ago, Marcus watched an Everrise entrance, and he said he'd rather watch gay porn.
I remember that statement so well.
What do you make of Johnny Gargano just popping out from behind Austin Theory?
It's the way. I don't know.
Why? So was that the right way to do an entrance?
Hey, you know what?
The wrong way.
Let me just point out that it might not be the way that I would choose to do an entrance, but at the same time, Johnny Gargano, unlike Everrise, is a multi-time champion. So in so many ways, you can do what the hell you want to do. If he's trying to show Austin Theory the way, maybe he's showing him the way.
So which entrance would you do? Gargano or that guy that slides on the other guy?
As long as I'm not the guy sliding up underneath the arm, I'm going to be Everrise. Marcus can slide underneath my arm, though.
I feel like I'll be uncomfortable either way with the Everrise entrance. You slid under my arm, I got to slide under it. Like, it's just either way.
I just want to think when they were workshopping that, the conversation, like, yeah, I'm going to do this and go under your arm.
Yeah, it's like one of those. It's like one of those things. Like, why did you really need to have this moment where you're gonna? I don't know. They
haven't did it again.
It's only because they get jobber entrances, so you don't see them do it.
Okay, so on our show, in this match, Manny posed a question, or Manny said there should have been a disqualification instead of an ejection. Do you agree with that? With the Eddie Guerrero spot in this match?
I also agree with Manny. They should have disqualified, and Leon Ruff should have got the win. I'm not really sure why the disqualification didn't take place. Yeah, but if you believe that it happened,
if you're feigning it.
Yeah.
You can't.
I mean,
you can't throw him out because you know something's happening.
Yeah, I mean,
anything could have happened. It's not like they needed to cheat the win. The ref was looking at the match and realized Theory has this one in the bag.
Gentlemen, can we just calm down real quick because we need to talk about the best moment on NXT. It's when NXT got cinematic, baby. And when, and for whatever, I'm trying to remember her name, but I know she had to kill him.
Shaw.
Man, the story.
Attorney at law.
The king. I remember the story. The king had a daughter and had a son. The son ended up killing the king because he was greedy. The daughter had to reach out and ask the dragon, what should I do? And the dragon gave her strength, and she killed her brother and brought peace and fame back to the family name. And that's why she's leading Xia Li and Boa. And I said, damn it, this is what I want. And
I'm going to introduce the dragon as a character.
Marcus,
because that's what I want to show up.
I want Boa to be the dragon. I want Boa to be the dragon.
Marcus.
No, I want Ricky Steamboat to be the dragon.
Marcus, I need Melina to be centuries old and be the lady under the makeup. That's what I need.
1,000 years old. What you had me at 1,000 years old.
My favorite thing was Vic Joseph. We're supposed to sit here and believe that she's 1,000 years old. Wait,
No, no.
Oh, she was throwing shade. She was throwing shade. But I was like, this is what I miss about my wrestling. This moment, they were posing. They might be the baddest faction in the game. And I don't even know what they're fighting for. But I was like, I'm glad they repackaged Xia Li. I was so happy.
Yeah, they're listening to that dragon who, when you ask him advice, hey, Mr. Dragon, I got a situation. Kill them all. I'm like, that's his advice for everything.
I just like that they're taking inspiration from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah. It was. Yes, Chris, I am very giddy. This, as we know, Xia Li has been my girl for a long time in NXT, and finally we have a story that makes really no sense, but at the same time, it's so much fun. They paid somebody to do an animated short to tell this story, and I love that they spent money on these little things when it comes to wrestling. Like, this is what makes wrestling great. It's like, this is it. This is what I see professional wrestling. This is what I like.
Again, Eric, as I said earlier in the week or sometime, this is the most invested I'm into anything in wrestling. And seeing where they go next with this. Because once they introduce a
Marcus also said that this should be a feature film.
It should have been. Yeah. Manny, I was waiting for the actors to start with the, like the English words underneath. I was ready for that.
You mean subtitles?
Yes.
The English word.
I can't wait to put English words underneath.
That's how excited I was. I forgot the simple term known as subtitle. That's how excited I was.
This is getting better and better. I never have to see Xia Li and Boa ever in a match. Just keep giving me packages, baby. I don't know who that person's gonna be, but I want them to introduce the dragon. Ricky Steamboat's really behind this.
Or Marcus, what if they brought in the Ultimo Dragon?
No. Oh! Apparently he was an arsehole.
Or we got Dragon Lee.
Go with that dragon.
We got Dragon Lee. There's a lot of dragons. But Marcus, then we move on to another
American Dragon. Daniel Bryan.
Marcus, we move on to another qualifying match between Legado del Fantasma going against the Lucha Party. I thought this was a good match. What I like the most about this match is that I like the fact that they let MSK talk afterwards when they were challenging. Let me ask you guys this question. I'm sorry I'm pivoting. How did you feel after each team won in their qualifying match in the Dusty Classic? They had to go to the corner and stare up at the screen and see where they were at in the bracket. Did you guys like that effect, Marcus?
They started it last week.
Yeah, they did it last week, and I didn't like it. Okay. It just seemed really stupid.
It seems fake. It's stupid, like you don't know, but also, it's to me, it's the pointing at the WrestleMania side. It makes sense. Just like, oh, here I am, and gives you a reason to look at the bracket. That's all it does. It makes the bracket more exciting.
I will point out.
Imagine a college basketball tournament if Gonzaga beat Duke. At the end of it, they're waiting to see the graphic of the little laser. That's our name. We moved. It's stupid, but I like it for some reason. I don't know. I go back and forth.
Yeah, Marcus, I know you weren't the biggest fan of MSK. Are they growing on you yet, or you still don't care?
Yeah, I'm still in the middle of it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's better than being. I guess being in the middle is fine.
You want to be in the middle? It's solid. They ain't wowed me yet. They're not the team I want to win.
In the middle. Who you want to win?
They're not GYV. They're not Thatcher and Ciampa. They're not whoever else is in the tournament. They're not Legado del Fantasma.
Mark, your bracket get broke next week. Your bracket get broke next week. You gonna have to pick one: GYV or Ciampa and Thatcher. And I know that's a hard decision to make.
I'm going GYV.
So, since we made fun of, since that was I thought that was from your end. I was just gonna ignore it and be professional.
No shit like
it was
that.
a drill.
It was for Manny's end. So, as you know, last week's episode, episode 717, we made fun of Pete Dunne for dropping off Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. This week he made right and he was in the passenger seat. I can't remember who was driving, but they all got out at the same time. Do you think he learned from his mistake, Marcus, when it took him too long last week to find parking in that NXT parking lot and knowing how dangerous it really was over there?
I think that this week they were like, we're heels, guys. We can park wherever we want. They're not going to tow our shit, I hope. Anyway, we're not going to be there that long. We're going to cut our promo and run back in.
Yeah, but Marcus, the problem is that, the Bruiserweight probably left a lot of bodies. Mark, he probably left a lot of bodies in that parking lot because, as we know, the NXT parking lot is the most dangerous parking lot around. But I thought it was hilarious.
Edge almost got fucked up. Carry Cross in right beside to run him over.
Edge just looked like he was out of place in the ring with Finn Balor and Pete Dunne. It's like Edge is on a side quest. He's on a side quest that he has no involvement in this one. He needs to go find the cow with the milk in the hills on his own and leave them alone. But did you like
his wife at work?
Did you like the trio, Marcus, of Edge being in the ring visiting his wife at work?
Yeah, I did. I thought, built to the Dunne and Balor, which I wanted to see already. He was there, and him, teasing that he may go after that title because he hasn't won, even though it's complete bullshit. He would never go after the NXT title. No one wants that. So, I enjoyed it.
What about you, Manny?
I enjoyed it, but the thing that I got my hopes up with was that Imperium fucking promo last week. Nothing. And I was hoping Walter would come out and step up and be like, I'm a champion too.
Well, I hope ultimately at WrestleMania it becomes Walter versus Finn. That's what I hope happens, but
it better, Eric. Better.
I mean, I think
you're getting Cross and Finn. You know it. They're even talking about putting that one on WrestleMania. They're talking about putting it on WrestleMania.
Marcus, as I told you, Cross is hunting Mexicans right now. I told you when he walked down to the ring, he looked like he was the biggest racist that I've ever seen. He was bad. He did.
Ricardo was talking shit.
Scarlett went to his match this week.
She went to the match after he continued to talk shit earlier in the night when he was like, oh, it would be the end of time or whatever. He was calling me out.
Can I pause you real quick? Because it's something I need to address with Manny first, because before we get to Santos and his problems, there was another match that took place, Manny. It was Jessica Kamea versus Toni Storm. Toni Storm got attacked by Mercedes Martinez. Were you upset when that happened?
No, because you kind of knew this match. You kind of knew this match wasn't really going to end or have some type of ending, and then, Mercedes paid for it because she got her nose busted.
Yeah, with the worst moves on the game, right there, right about busted nose.
And Marcus also, who was complaining about Edge showing up late to SmackDown?
Both of us.
Yeah, Chris pointed out Pete Dunne and his crew showed up late also, so they always show up late to work. They don't have,
and they should also be written up. Yeah.
They weren't scheduled to be there. They weren't even scheduled to be there. On extra days, you can show up whenever you want. I'm just saying.
Now, can I tell you guys something? I feel like I was duped, I was tricked, and I was bamboozled by NXT because they sold me a Texas package known as Kurt Stallion. I was like, you know what? He might be pretty good. He might be on par with Adam Page. No, he's not. And I
understand. Where did he sell you on this?
You know what? The fact that Legado del Fantasma attacked him, I thought maybe Escobar was, ducking him. But clearly, they wanted to go to happy hour instead of have this match because this match went on without a hitch. The only hitch that you had was Scarlett staring at Santos because she's trying to get her some. And then next thing you know, he still wins the match.
That was your type of
why else was Why else was she on the porch just putting everything out so he can see it? She wore white. She wanted to be seen, man. She wanted to be seen.
Bright red. She wore bright red.
Are you trying to say Karrion Kross is a cuck?
Manny? Maybe. Maybe.
What are you trying to say? If he looks like a cuck, walk like a cuck, he must be a cuck. I'm enjoying the side quest for Cross.
Side quest Wednesdays.
Yeah, because this is definitely a side quest. Because he's just by his side, because Balor and Dunn are doing their thing. He's only going for that title no matter what. Like, that's where we're going. It's Balor and Cross probably. And he needs something to do. And Escobar can make him look good.
They're in the chat room. They're gushing over Tony Storm. Manny, you better go check them in the chat room, man. I don't know what's going on. So the main event was a very good tag match. Undisputed Era versus Timothy Thatcher and Ciampa, who had some of the just great chemistry off the bat. Marcus, I enjoyed this match, and yes, it was good. And it almost surpassed my first match of the KC Express versus Raquel Gonzalez. And Dakota Kai. It almost did. Yes, but I kept at number one for two reasons. A, I really enjoyed that match. And two, I knew it would piss Manny off, and I'm petty like that. But with that being said, the match was really good. Marcus, what did you enjoy about the main event of NXT?
I liked the
tag team of
Thatcher. I liked that thing. Thatcher and I'm blanking out on Ciampa. I thought that was a really good team. It was a better team than Roderick and Cole, and I thought they should have. They won, but I don't know. I just thought it was a great match. I thought it was a really good match. There's nothing really to complain about. They did everything right. It was hard-hitting, gritty. They did this stuff, and I want this going forward to just be a legit tag team, not just a Dusty Rhodes Classic. We're together now, but because Ciampa ain't doing shit else. He ain't winning that belt again.
So, Manny,
it's weird what they're doing with Ciampa, though. I don't know where they go with him after this.
Well, from my understanding, they wanted to call him up, but he said, I don't want to go up. And so now he's like, well, you got to stay down here. And then I ain't no snitch. I was letting Manny know that people trying to move in on his girl. That's all I got to say. People distract and call me a snitch. I won't have to kill nobody today.
You the one who supported Kurt Stallion. You the one who saw something in Kurt Stallion when the only thing we got from Kurt Stallion last week was that he was a snitch. Like God out. It was like God out, damn it. It was all of them. I can figure them out. I can draw a description if you want. It was like God out.
Manny, was there anything that they could have did in the main event to make it even better?
Not really. This was a solid main event. Like, I enjoyed this. If I was only to watch this against the whole of AEW last, I would have picked this.
Now, let me ask this question. Do you watch NXT before you watch AEW?
I made the mistake this week to watch NXT before AEW.
So you made the mistake. So you ended with AEW.
Yeah.
And I know Marcus always watches NXT before he watches AEW, correct?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, as you guys know, you didn't know this, but I will tell you this. I didn't watch AEW until Thursday afternoon because of work and whatnot.
That's not that far.
But, occasionally.
It's a day later.
But occasionally, I get up on, I go online, I see social media, and I feel this was a beloved episode of AEW, and I was like, oh, maybe this will be a good episode, although I know that it never works out for me being the episode that I enjoy. But I had hope for Dynamite. I thought Dynamite could, pull something through. Yeah. The show started off with the Battle Royal. Am I right? It started off with the tag team.
Yeah, you sound like somebody died.
This tag team battle royal was so convoluted, and it destroyed everything that they built last week with their main event with the Inner Circle, that it just, like, the fact that Jericho is again in this title picture for a tag title when they have ranking systems make absolutely no sense to me when you have rankings. Like, the thing that fundamentally breaks AEW is the fact that you say you have rankings, and they matter, but then you do all these other matches that just throws all your rankings out of the picture. Marcus, I haven't seen a battle royal like this in a long time since the Impact days. Did you enjoy the battle royal at least a little
Wait a
bit.
minute. You just saw one like 4 weeks ago or something when they did the same Battle Royal.
I know.
It was like a year ago.
I know,
or
Marcus.
something.
But I wasn't paying
My
attention.
issue. Okay, my main issue with this Battle Royal. One, Nick Jackson was eliminated a long time ago when he decided to do that springboard and jumped on that apron. I don't care if they said that doesn't count. That stage part is part of the floor because Matt hit that floor. Anyway, I'm not going there. The convoluters, you're supposed to have the greatest tag team division in the world, but yet there's 19 different Inner Circle tag teams in there. 19! And then 4 Dark Order tag teams. I'm sure they had other tag teams that could have been in this. I think they all were in this. But none of them were for damn, and none of these teams even mattered because the number one tag team in their company, FTR, wasn't even in the tournament because they were suspended for doing shit that people do on a regular basis. People always get their heat back after a match. It happens in AEW. Everything bad. But they're the ones getting suspended for it, and now they're committing kidnapping for it. So none of that made sense, and it was frustrating to see all those different Inner Circle tag teams.
Before we get Manny's take on this, I want to give a shout out to the Lumberjack El Luchador's comment of the great hate debate has begun. Eric, you have the floor for 90 minutes. It will not take that long, but I appreciate you giving me the floor. Manny, this tag team battle royal, when you have a ranking system, is this a sensible way to determine who gets to fight the tag team champions?
No. We've said this numerous times. They keep doing things like this. They've got that ring, that battle for the ring, which I don't understand. They have numerous tournaments going on even the women's tournament happening soon to have a shot at Shida, who hasn't even been on the show for like God knows how long.
Excuse me, it's an eliminator tournament.
Mark, we will talk about the eliminator tournament because Marcus is more petty than me in this situation, but okay.
And then to top it off, I didn't care about this. I've just watched 2 Royal Rumbles on Sunday. Why do I need to watch this?
Especially when the rules weren't clearly defined, and then like the whole aspect of the premise of this battle royal was that if the Young Bucks won, they got to pick who they wanted to fight, and they were going to probably pick the Good Brothers, but then they got eliminated. Like, I didn't feel like any of the teams were established enough for me to give a damn about in that situation. But something I did give a damn about in AEW, and this was probably the highlight of the night for me personally, and that was Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. This was a very sound wrestling match for the women's division of AEW. It's going to be something I'm going to talk about later when I talk about AEW, but Thunder Rosa has proven that she is a hot commodity in women's wrestling, and going against Britt Baker, who has also proven she's one of the better female wrestlers that they have on the roster, actually, but she keeps getting hurt when it's her time to shine. Manny,
it's not hard. It's not hard to be one of the best wrestlers on AEW in women's wrestling.
I know, Manny. You were shaking your head when I said this was one of the better matches on AEW. You agree, correct?
Yeah, it was probably the best match on AEW and the best women's match of that night. No, that's not better than that tag match. Better than that tag match.
And in fact, going into this match, Mark, hold on, Marcus. I'm gonna throw it to you, Marcus. Just give me a second.
No, I'm throwing it to you and said, do you agree?
What? Yes.
That was the best women's match of the night.
Yeah.
Better than the KC Express.
Yeah, because that was 4 women. This was 1-on-1, and for me personally, a 1-on-1 match can always precede a tag match. Marcus, I'm going back to you in this situation when I asked you this question. This is one of the few matches that actually had a storyline going into it. Yes, the storyline was a little bit jumbled of us getting there, but did that make this match even feel a little bit more important because we knew that these 2 women had history with each other?
Eric, I don't know the storyline.
Well, let me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was the waiting room, Marcus. The waiting room.
I don't know. I care less. They showed me the clips of what's been going on of her attacking her in the back. I don't even remember why she did that. Like, I remember that all this stuff happened, but when the match started, it wasn't in the back of my mind that there's been some disrespect in this. I didn't care. They just had a solid wrestling match where they followed the rules, which is very rare. People breaking counts on the outside, which I went, holy shit, they're having a real wrestling match. And this is the time when AEW can show that they can do some good work, but they don't on a consistent basis.
I would also,
you had Jungle Boy and Dax last week, and then you get this week with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, and I'm like, why can't we just have more matches like this? Sensible, things make sense. You know, the bad guys are doing bad guy shit. She cheated to win. We continue the story. Everybody moves on their merry way. Everybody's happy. Even JR seemed to be happy.
Now, I'm going to throw this back to both of you guys. This is a question because I kind of skipped this, and with good reason. What took place before this match was another segment with Sting, Darby Allin, and the Taz group. Do you think that, because that segment kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, that because I had such a bad taste in my mouth that the women's match came in and I was already angry and just cheered me up a little bit more?
Wait, what are you angry about?
What's the question?
I'm just saying that.
I feel like that was a statement.
It was.
I don't even know who you were talking about.
You know what? Let's just move on. No one cares.
Repeat what you said. No, repeat what you were trying to say.
I was just saying, was the segment that preceded the match between the women, was it because that segment was so bad that I actually was happy that the match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa had some type of semblance and some type of quality that I made it better than what it could have really what it was? It doesn't make it. It
was just a good match.
No, it's a bad question. It's just a good match. That was a bad question.
It was.
Fuck Team Taz and Sting. And I had Darby. That storyline is just going on and on. They're hanging around the backdrop. Sting does the same thing for the past 200 weeks. And don't bitch to me about Goldberg and Edge and all these Bad Bunny or whatever the fuck WWE's doing, where you have Sting just come out to the ring, walk out there, says his piece, Taz says his piece, and there is nothing that has happened between these teams.
So
it's
Marcus,
the same shit for the past since December. I'm gonna say 4th or 3rd. Or something. Whenever they did their Winter is Coming, we'll be getting the same shit, and they need to do something about that.
So Marcus, we're gonna move on to the next segment. Last
and
week,
Georgia Dallas the number one contender.
Marcus, we're not there yet. Can you stop? Stop jumping ahead. Stop jumping ahead. Marcus, we're gonna move to.
We're in that.
No, Mark, we're gonna move to the point where last week Matt Hardy offered Hangman Page to use his locker room. We had footage that he did use that locker room to change.
And Matt Hardy was watching him.
Matt Hardy was watching him. So and somehow that led to a tag match where they're facing Chaos Project. Marcus, what's more concerning? That Matt Hardy was watching Adam Page use his locker room, or that we had to watch Chaos Project actually have a match on Dynamite?
Is the team called Chaos Project? Chaos Theory.
It's Chaos Project, Marcus.
I don't care. Oh.
Levi with a great comment, Marcus, while you gather your thoughts. He says he loves Team Taz. They look like the meatheads from 24-Hour Fitness that hog the weight bench. They do. Like, you ain't gonna work out here. They're like Team Rocket from in Pokemon Go,
no,
where they stop your Pokestops.
What's the name of that from House Party? What's their name? You were gonna kick your fucking ass. Whoever those guys were, I forget their real name.
Full Force, Marcus. They were a group called Full Force. Yes,
they're literally Full Force. That's literally their whole thing, and they're just upset. They're upset. They're gonna beat up Kid before he gets to the party. But where were we?
Right, you were talking about Taz. I mean, we're talking about Hardy watching Adam Page in the locker room, and then Chaos.
I don't care about Matt Hardy. Get Matt Hardy off my TV. Just get him off my TV.
So,
get him, Serpentico, and Luther off my TV. Hangman Page needs to move on and find a new storyline.
Manny,
just do something.
It seems like the only storyline Hangman Page can get in AEW is that people want to team with him and do stuff. The commentators were trying to paint Kenny Omega and Adam Page as one of the greatest tag teams ever.
No. First, you have to point out that the fact that they tried to sell me on Hangman and Matt Hardy being a hell of a team, and then at one point saying that Matt Hardy is a hell of an athlete. Fuck off AEW. Fucking title.
The fact,
all your fans, all of them. I wish you'd die.
I feel like Manny went back and got some notes to. He was reading that. For me, yes, the thing that really was
look right there. It says, "I wish they fucking died." There it is, right there.
Like it was one of those things where it was like, yes, Matt has only teamed with his brother because I guess they can't say Jeff. But you know what? and then Adam had a great team with Kenny Omega. And I'm like, they didn't really do much as a team. They were trying to be a part more. Like, they were trying to make it more bigger than what they were. And then Matt Hardy stole the win from Hangman, but Hangman doesn't want to team with him, but I'm assuming next week they're going to team together. And then we got the bracket for a tournament. Now, granted, I'm a big fan of tournaments. I have nothing against. These are new, fresh faces that I don't know anything about, but Marcus had one of the biggest. Marcus had a petty gripe. Marcus, please let the world know what your gripe is for the audio podcast.
I don't know what my gripe is.
Marcus, I will tell you. They showed the bracket. Mark, they showed the bracket for the women's eliminator tournament.
Oh, okay.
Now you remember your bracket.
Is that Rio's on the Japanese side? She's on the American side.
I didn't know that. No, Marcus, your thing wasn't because it was called an eliminator tournament, and the tournament.
Manny's great. Manny's great.
Oh, that's Manny's great. Yeah. Is that your great, Manny?
Yeah. At what point is a tournament not an eliminator tournament? Doesn't make any sense.
And Marcus, you're upset because Rio is on the American side and not the Japanese side.
Yeah, I don't see why she's not. Did they just run out of room? Like that's what happened. They ran out of people and was like, Rio kind of odd woman out. You bump somebody.
Chris would like to know, Marcus, did we ever have a high top fade like Kid?
Yes.
Yes. Don't want to talk about it though. Let's see. Just like I feel like I just want to direct everybody, go look at the Untitled Manny and Marcus show on Thursday so you guys can hear them talk about the wedding. I really don't want to talk about the wedding. I really don't.
We got to do it again. Talk about Eric. I want to hear your take on everything that happened with that shit. Every little detail about that, from the cake that they were eating to just all the bullshit that went around it. What was your thoughts on the wedding?
The only thing that I liked was Father James Mitchell. I mean, I ain't seen him in a while, and anytime he show up, he's one of the most snazzy, dressed evil man I know. I mean, last time I knew he was sending Rosemary to hell or something like that. So now that he could put people and marry them, I was very happy. But everything else, I just didn't care. I don't care enough about Kip and Penelope getting married. Didn't care about Miro trying to be super smart and trying to prevent everything that happens in a wrestling wedding. Didn't care about Chucky T, aka Charles Taylor, trying to turn and having Orange OC or whatever his name is. Was Orange Julius? I can't remember Orange Cassidy inside of the cake.
Orange Julius?
I don't know what his name was.
Who are you hanging out with? Yeah, my boy. That's Orange Julius over there. He righteous.
I felt
Julius sounds like he can whoop someone's ass.
I would fuck with Orange Julius. He got his head in his pocket, and if he does, he has a gun.
I just didn't care, and I think it's like they didn't make me care enough about the people who were getting married to make me care about this marriage. But clearly, I was wrong because according to the ratings, this was the highest rated part of AEW Dynamite. Go figure. Now, because weddings
do everything, Eric. Weddings always draw. Miro still has the highest rating wedding segment of all time. But let me tell you something, brother.
Tell me
about this wedding. This is the end. This is a downfall. I wouldn't want to watch this show ever again after this wedding. Miro is dead. Miro is dead. Okay? This is his third wedding, Eric. As I said on the show last time, this is 3 weddings and a funeral. This was the end of Miro and Rusev and any momentum he's ever had in his life. There is no story going on here. I could care less about Penelope before and Kip Sabian. Or I don't even care what his name is. I can't accuse him. The whole thing made no sense. It led nowhere. It's going nowhere. And the fact that they had months, Eric. They've been advertising this for months that he was going to make this wedding happen. And this is what we got. It was not thought out. It wasn't put together. The best part of the wedding was the impromptu "What Is Love" song from the crowd. That is it.
Manny, go to your notes.
Everybody else get burned in
Go
hell.
to your notes. What do you have on your notes? I would like to hear them.
You want the notes?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
You get the notes. You can't handle the notes.
It's funny what a year will do. Miro left WWE doing this BS, and now he's doing the exact same thing. And this isn't in the notes, but it's this. There's no way anyone that watches AEW can say this isn't a Raw segment. That was a Raw segment.
Yeah.
AEW is Raw.
It is.
And the thing that followed this segment, though, look, for you having your most viewed segment being this shitty ass wedding, and then to transition into something that I think is just gonna be absolute dog shit, is Shaq, Cargill, Red Velvet, and Cody.
Hey,
so go into that.
You saw the black tornado, like, Marcus. You saw the
bullshit.
You saw the black tornado into the plexiglass. But you know, when you said that it was followed by bullshit, like the whole thing about like the Shaq thing, that gets a casual audience, and I think AEW really needs to get the casual audience so they can get over that 1 million threshold. But what really followed this was something that I don't understand how something I enjoyed last week was destroyed this week because they tried to do too much. And that was the match between Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer. This was a match that they had. They had a match previous last week that I really enjoyed. I thought it was two men just having a fight. But then this week they give it to us again and they decided to make it a lumberjack match. And it's just all over the place to the point where I just didn't care. And the only thing I learned is that Bunny has one of the worst crying faces in the game. She's toe up when she's crying. But Manny, did you take anything away or was anything accomplished to you in that lumberjack match? Manny might be. He was froze. Oh yeah, you were froze. I said, was anything accomplished to you, or did you take anything away from that lumberjack match?
I don't understand the rules of a lumberjack match. I didn't understand why people were going in the ring. I really didn't get it.
Marcus, Mark, I don't even want you to talk about the lumberjack match, Marcus. I want something more to talk about. So you know how we talked about the tag team battle royal, right? We find out later in a sit-down interview, like it's a tell-all that Tully and FTR were not allowed into the battle royal for whatever reason that they said because of what they did last week. That was bullshit, wasn't it, Marcus?
Yeah, and I said that earlier. I'd rather talk about the lumberjack match.
Okay, go ahead and talk about the lumberjack match. Or do you want to talk about Joey Janela being number one for the AEW title? Or the TV title?
If you speak on this, I'll be mad at you. Don't talk about this. Why?
You have to establish.
Why is this happening? Why?
No, every time someone becomes TNT champion, the first person you got to go through to prove that you are a TNT worthy champion is to face Joey Janela. Cody did it. Brody did it. Now Darby has to do it. And they all have done it successfully. And Kenny, when he won his belt, who did he have to defend his title against first? Joey Janela. It is just a rule. It is a rule of thumb that Joey Janela has in his contract.
Why is he the measuring stick?
That he gets the title shot. He is the measuring stick with his little boots and his lack of victories. Get out of here.
So
it's some bullshit.
Let's get to the main event. It is Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers going against Jon Moxley, Rey Fenix, and Pac. Jon Moxley, Phoenix, and Pac, they come out as a unit pretty much. They knew where Jon Moxley was going to come from. And I know this match had to be great, Marcus, because Rey Fenix had his epic dive in this match. Did you like this match?
I thought it was a solid match. And I thought the end of the show was fine. But other than that, the whole show was dog shit. And I'm exhausted just thinking about this show.
Manny, do you share the same sentiments as Marcus about the main event?
The match was fine. It was just another spot fest, much like last week. And yeah, Kenta showed up. I don't care.
So Manny, fuck you for doing that.
Excuse me, Manny. Say his name right. Say his name right.
Kenta.
Thank you. All cap.
No, so fuck you, Manny. You took my shine, so I have to go another row. So Hideo Itami showed up. And I'm like, I didn't like him then, and I don't like him now. Ooh, it makes me so happy he's here. I don't get it. I just don't get it that just because they have these working relationships with New Japan apparently now and maybe Impact Wrestling, that this makes this a far superior product. It actually makes it a weaker product in my opinion, because guess what? They're not using any of their own stars to get their product over. They're using stars in other company. As I told Marcus on the phone, this is like a restaurant that requires food from other restaurants to have their customers in. Guess what? Once those recipes that got the customers to go eat at your restaurant are not there no more because they want to go back to their restaurant, those people won't come in anymore. And that is what's going on with AEW. You keep having Kenta show up. You keep having the Good Brothers show up. But then what do you do with your roster that you have with your contracted talent? Joey Janela, he keeps getting fed to whoever wins the AEW TNT title. It just makes no sense with the booking. And then people always say, oh, WWE needs to work with other companies. Why? Why do I need to enhance other talent? What? And I need to ask New Japan, I need to ask Impact, what are you gaining from sending your talent there? If the Good Brothers get hurt on an AEW show, that hurts your product. I don't like it. And that's why I agree with the NWA champ and why I get his quote, Manny, speak on what I'm saying.
Well, I just think the benefits work better for Impact and New Japan because they're trying to establish themselves and grow an audience in America. It doesn't work for AEW in the long run because they, like you said already, their existing stars on the roster are just going to be overshone by everything else. Which is why earlier I said I don't think Cesaro should have gone to AEW.
Yeah. And for me, this is no different than when people talk about why is Goldberg taking the spot from a young talent? Because guess what? Kenta's taking a spot from somebody that could have did that on AEW. The Good Brothers are taking a spot that maybe, you know what? Fuck it. That Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela could be to it.
How dare you, Eric? How dare you?
I had that to know. Marcus, how did
you gonna say Peter Avalon next?
Marcus, I know that you were a Kenta fan. You liked it when he was Kenta. You liked it when he was Hideo Itami. You liked it when he became Kenta again. You know, what's going on?
So, you know, with all this being said, I enjoy the promotions working together. It's fine. It's kind of like your own cinematic wrestling universe when, you know, you can have Captain America show up somewhere and on a different movie or something like that. So I'm okay with that. My main issue with all of this is that it's going to be very NWO-y. And it seems very NWO-y. If you're not in the Billy Club, your storylines don't matter. Miro Kip, Les Archer, and the Butcher Blade, and Eddie Kingston, all that, you guys don't matter because this is all about the Bullet Club. If once this Bullet Club thing feud out and all the infighting is done, you have the Wolfpack and then you have the White NWO or whatever they're calling themselves, the original NWO, and then the LWO comes in. It just seems like there's nothing after that. Like, yeah, it'd be good for a few months to do this, but after a while, it's not going to be much. And then I don't believe they're going to get all the New Japan stars I want to see wrestle here in America. I don't think they're going to ship Okada over here. I think it's just going to be Bullet Club guys. Manny, they have all of them.
Now, Manny, before you talk, I want to go into the lumber chat. Levi says that's a bad analysis. Remember, we are in a pandemic and resources at this time need to be shared. He also says Kenta, Good Brothers, and Kenny Omega are big stars. They actually help all tides rise. For me personally, they're not stars to me, but I know to each is their own. Manny, you were going to say something. What were you going to say?
Well, they are established stars in their own right. What those people that you just named, so the Good Brothers, Kenny Omega, and all that. But the problem that is because they're already established, you're not bringing anyone else up because they're feuding with Mox at the same time. Mox is already established on a worldwide level because of the WWE connection, but you're not bringing anyone else up. There's other talent they could be bringing up for that to get part of that shine. So at least someone else in AEW is getting established at the same time.
So do you think that this is not going to filter out to like other wrestlers? Let's say Darby Allin gets involved with this, and it's Darby Allin versus, I don't know who's in their group, Kenta or whatnot.
Yeah, it'd be good.
That's not gonna happen.
It would be good because it would elevate Darby and they get more eyes on Darby. But like as it's early days, but having all these companies work together hasn't actually improved their ratings.
Well, El Luchador says that they have to work together because they are facing a mega giant in WWE. Do you agree with that assessment, Marcus, that they have to merge to face WWE?
Yeah. It's the Avengers Assembly. Vince McMahon is Thanos. He has it all. He has the money. He has the television deals. They're making money head over fist advertisement. When people look at WWE, they look at it as now an established company, and every other wrestling promotion, no matter how you look at it, whether I'm wrong or right, you look at AEW as a casual fan and go, they're the other WWE. It's kind of like when you see the XFL or AFF league or whatever they call it, the app. It's just, this is the knockoff NFL. Or any baseball league. This is a knockoff baseball league. Or the Big Three, it's a knockoff NBA. Like, they're not the big deal, and they have to work themselves up. Could this storyline work, and they build themselves up to fight with WWE on head versus fist? It might. But I am waiting to see. I think it's nice that they're all working together. I mean, I think it's unique that you can have all these brands and that it kind of makes you want to go, what is going on? And I know NWA isn't really doing anything right now, but what's going on in NWA with Thunder Rosa and that division over there? Maybe they're good. Or let me watch some Impact to see what the Good Brothers are doing against Moose or whatnot. But I don't know where the talent exchange go. What's the deal? What's the arrangement? So it's just going to take some time. I like I said, it's nice. I like that Kenta is not there to say I'm joining up with Omega. He's just there to beat up Moxley because they need to drop that damn United States title for like a year. It's finally happening in February.
Well, with that,
well, the other thing I just want to ask, because I briefly mentioned it to Marcus. Do you think in the long run, because this is very early days, in the long run, with all these different companies kind of working together, they're gonna bump heads because they want their guys to get over?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be it might be a clash because there's gonna be that creative, like everybody has their own idea of who they want to get established and whatnot. And let's say I don't know how long these are gonna go in the long run, but the Good Brothers, let's say they're having a match with FTR, and AEW says, no, I want FTR to win this match, or the Good Brothers say no, or Impact goes, I want the Good Brothers to win or whatnot. I mean, I can see clashes like that, but overall, whatever. Until that happens, I'm going to wait. Things go bad no matter what you do.
Levi chimes in again. He says, another bad analysis. AEW is trending towards a younger demographic. WWE would love AEW's demo trends. That creates an ad revenue. I don't know. I have to disagree with that one because the only show that AEW can really compare themselves to is NXT. When you look at SmackDown, where it got 2.3 million viewers, I think that AEW would love to have 2.3 million viewers. I think Raw even gets at least 1.3 million viewers. I just think that when you compare it to NXT, which is why I say that NXT should just throw in the towel, because at that point, it gives AEW that, well, we are beating WWE because we're beating NXT, but I don't think they can beat the big shows. But going back to what Marcus said about NWA, Nick Aldis, the current NWA champion, he was asked about his opinion about all these companies working together, and this was what he had to say. He says, there's clearly interest.
Oh, I thought that was a clip.
He said, no, I don't have the clip because I couldn't clip it. He said, there's clearly interest in that because it gets brought up a lot. He was on the Angle podcast. I can't speak for them, but if they are listening to the audience, then you would imagine it's on their radar. My own personal thought on it is I'm more interested in continuing to build the NWA. I'm very confident in the value of my world title. I don't need to put it up against other belts to argue its validity. I have Dory Funk Jr., Harley Race, Jack Briscoe, Ric Flair, Terry Funk, Dusty Rhodes to make that argument for me. The history dates back to 1905. You can't buy that or fabricate it. I don't need wrestling Twitter to validate the value of the real World's Championship. Now, Was this lip service, or do you
sound like the president of the United States releases a statement on the State of the Union of the WWE of wrestling championships?
Well, the thing is, I like his point of view because, like, I want to make my belt the most relevant belt, and I don't need to jump on somebody else's thing to do it. But at the same time, this just could be him saying one thing, knowing that in the long run, he's going to show up on one of these shows because people feel that it's good for business. Manny, which way do you think? Do you think he's really taking the approach where he's going to focus on NWA, or do you think you're going to expect to see him on AEW anytime soon?
I expect to see him at some point. Like they've already got the NWA Women's title on there. Like at some point, Billy Corgan's going to go. You know what? It's best for business.
I can't survive off Mickey James money all this time, Nick. We need you to go on Dynamite.
It's like, for me, my big concern, though, about the merger of them working with other people is just the fact that the NWA talent is better than the talent that they have. Like, Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb are better in-ring workers than, like, that majority of the AEW's women division. They might get better.
Well, Serena Deeb is AEW, isn't she?
I think she might be the AEW wrestler that is NWA champion. Honestly, I don't care.
And then Levi says SmackDown and Raw generates an older demographic. Most WWE viewers are 50 and older. That is true, but I mean, it's still a demographic, and you still have to cater to it. I don't know if the young audience demographic is sustainable because young people's tastes change with the wind. And I mean, I know when I was young, I used to like one thing and I don't like something else. I don't think we can debate which method is better. I just don't think that it's a wise thing for AEW to do right now when they're not established themselves. Do you gentlemen have anything else to add to the discussion?
AEW is like right now it is the hot brand right now in the world, but there's been numerous hot brands at a time when, Impact was considered the hot brand at one point and moving up and all that. But it's all about sustaining that buzz, that energy. And I don't know, the way the show is for me, and I don't feel like they can sustain it because there are so many like little flaws that bug me about that show. And maybe I'm older and I don't let it go. That it doesn't seem like it has this longevity that it's gonna last. Like that they can sustain this energy. Like, yeah, they have all this Bullet Club storyline and exciting and all that people are working everywhere, but what's after that? Like, this is only go so long before everybody's a member of Bullet Club, I feel like. And then be like, oh, we got all this.
And see,
but until you like sustain that over a long period of time and really build your audience. Like, when the casual fans come in and tune in to see the Shaq match, are they gonna be like, oh, that was shit? Or are they gonna go like, this is great. Can't wait to see more of this.
Well, I know you said like the greatness of the Bullet Club. I've never been a fan of the Bullet Club. It's like, it's okay, but it was never something that I really cared about because I thought it was still like a ripoff of the NWO. So it doesn't excite me. At the end of the day, I just feel that people are just going to like what they like and they're going to dislike what they like. And as long as we're having a good time with it, go ahead. But I do fear that AEW can't be sustainable in the way that they're going. But maybe they can prove me wrong. And trust me, they can, because I ain't never been part of the business. I'm just a person with a podcast that has an opinion. Manny, do you have anything to add? I think Manny either froze or he doesn't have anything to add. It's a point that Manny,
that's deep.
He could be frozen or he could just be, he looked like he's a black militant man right now. Like, oh, Manny's back. Manny.
He's back.
Did you hear the question?
So I think when you talk about sustainability, it's quite difficult because with all these companies working together, there's not enough time in the day, especially for me, to watch all of that content. I'm not going to go sit down and watch New Japan and then Impact on top of all this already. So you're playing a dangerous game here. You're trying. The real audience is a casual audience, and to gain them is quite difficult.
And
you don't feel like shit, though? You don't feel like shit? What? Ring of Honor must feel like shit.
They do. They're not invited to the party, man.
They're not part. Nobody is talking about them. Like, at least with every other company that's involved in AEW, at least you got people talking about them. Whether it's New Japan or even AAA has their hand in this a little bit. Like they have they have no interaction with Ring of Honor whatsoever.
I mean, when it comes down to it, if we didn't do this podcast, probably the only show that I would watch regularly would probably be SmackDown. And then after that, maybe NXT. But that would be it. Like, Raw, I probably wouldn't watch. I mean, Raw might be background noise on, but it's just not, you move on. It's just like, it's Raw has that Tom Brady effect where you're tired of seeing Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. And so it's like, fuck, I want to see Tom Brady lose. And AEW's Patrick Mahomes, the young up-and-coming quarterback, already has one championship, looking for another championship. And with that being said, Manny, who you got in the Super Bowl? Manny might be frozen again. Marcus, go to you. Who do you got in the Super Bowl?
I am going to go, and just because he's a piece of shit and he keeps winning anyway, Tom Brady and the Bucks are going to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
No one can stop that, man.
I want to go back into the comments because I agree with Levi in this situation because it could make me watch AEW and enjoy it more. He says AEW focuses Darby, MJF, Sammy G, and Hangman Page. If AEW can get a Sammy Will Ospreay match on Dynamite, I watch. And if they did that type of focus, Levi, I would enjoy AEW so much more. But they are currently not focusing on those young people. Sammy is playing a subordinate role to Chris Jericho right now. I just don't know if their priorities are in line, but they might fix it out. Manny, are you taking Brady or are you taking Mahomes?
I have to take Mahomes. I've hated that man for too long to stand with him just because he's with the Bucks now.
And I've learned something about Manny's internet that as of right now, we can't go over an hour and a half of his internet because then that's when it started acting up. I noticed that's when it started freezing once we went over 1 hour and 30 minutes. So since we're approaching the 2 hour mark, I think it's time for us to wrap this show up. As El Luchador in the chat says, fuck Tom Brady.
Please let that be heard, but, he's living a great life.
Mark, he might be LeBron. He might keep showing up to the dance, but he can't win it when it counts. But
he has won it. Six times.
He got a 6, but he might not get a 7th as Manny is frozen again. With that being said, I think it's time for us to wrap up this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to email us, you can email us at thesharpshooters, that's thesharpshooters@gmail.com. Please give us any comments. Please check out the content that is being released on this network. You can check out the Untitled Manny and Marcus show on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the same time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully at that point, Manny won't be freezing up at much, but he's back, so we need to close this show out. I am Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale.
And Levi took Pat Mahomes, the Steph Curry of football, and I'm Eric. Until next week, stay sharp.
Hey, no! I can never support a team that says it is Steph Curry. Steph Curry is the worst thing that ever happened to the NBA. I swear to God, he is. He is.
No, the worst thing that ever happened to the NBA is the Clippers, but I'll digress. Until next week, stay sharp. We out.